So, whoa, I'm standing about 10 inches above the bottom of these okra. And I'm having a hard time reaching the top. I think in the future, I'm going to have to plan some steps along here. This is my favorite part right here. Just coming through the jungle. I love it. It's one of my favorite things about this garden. But yeah, so I just harvested this big old okra. This wasn't there a couple days ago, but this is actually small for the Hill Country Red Okra. They get about twice as big. They're nice, big and round. But what you do, doggone it, a little woody. You bite that tip and you can tell if it's going to be woody or not. So, hey, this is Bowtie Dave getting ready to show you the raised bed garden tour for the month of August 2022. And this is really my own log of what's going on in the garden and the steps and everything, so that in the future I can look back and see what's going on, see what happened. But more than happy to have y'all along. Appreciate you spending some time with me. Love having y'all along, and maybe you can be inspired to plant a tomato or something, because it's just, for me, it's just so exciting just to see these things grow and be able to go out and pick something and eat it fresh out of the garden. It's so fulfilling. And you get to watch God's hand in motion as you get to see the garden grow. But yeah, so let's get on with this garden tour and get me out from in front of it and start showing you some of the plants that are growing here and the progress for this month. So starting here at the back door, you can see the pile of beans I pulled out of bed 3 next to the corn here about a month and a half ago. Everything's dead. I'm about to come in here with my hedge trimmer and chop all this up so I can get in the compost. But yeah, more rat traps. I have 13 of these rat traps around. So the Poinsetta are still looking good as ever. I can't remember if you saw one of these just completely wilted. They do wilt and they come back. Good trap plant for some critters that I enjoy having it around. But so anyway, this is the water lily that I grew in, that I stuck in this pot. It was the first one I got. These bulbs are actually developing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. There's at least 11 bulbs in there where it started with 1. So that's a real good thing. This citronella plant, I having trouble with these. You saw the seedlings in the last episode. I need to figure out what I'm doing wrong, or, well, I can see snail or slug markings across there. Here's another one that's kind of struggling along as well. Probably has to do with the amount of sun that they're getting or not getting, I'm not sure. But we come up to the trellis here, and this is kind of funny because the beans that are growing all the way over here have grown up, have gone all the way over this trellis, and have grown down to here. Let me back up and show you that in full view here. So here's the beans growing over here in bed 2. They've grown up, they've gone over this trellis, and they're coming down the other side. But they're going to get met, but hopefully and stopped soon. But we've been getting beans. I blanched about a gallon of beans a week and a half ago maybe, and we're picking more and more. The Kohl Rabi down here, you know, I know it's a cool weather plant, but looky here. Let me see if I can get it in here. Look how big this guy is. That's a Kohl Rabi, and I'm going to be harvesting that. I know it's small, but yeah, I'm going to be harvesting that to see if we can get something out of it. This is the bunch of cucumbers from the rotten cucumber that I pulled out and stuck over here. There's the last little cluster. This is another one from there. This is the cucumber I planted from seed, and look how tall it's getting. It's probably about 3 foot from the bottom to here. So this thing is taken off. I'm curious to see if we can get another if we have enough time to get another harvest out of this thing. But you look here closely, we're already starting multiple directions of growth here. I can't tell. I think that's going to be buds. But yeah, I'm a little excited about that. So it's grabbing on good and all. So yeah, more cucumbers. Our current, you'll see here in a minute, our current cucumber plants have decided to pretty much stop producing, though I did just refill a spicy bread and butter pickle jar. It was empty, no more pickles. I sliced up one of these cucumbers from the old plants. I'll get to that in a second. And I refilled the jar. So anyway, look at the ginger. This ginger is just looking good. Look how big that's growing up there. And look how all these ginger plants are just they're about 2 feet tall, maybe 2.5 feet tall. This is another ginger right here. A little bit shorter, but it's getting a third shoot right there. And these things are starting to come out strong. This is the ginger that I planted that was the first, not the first year of ginger, but the second year for it to grow a plant. And it's really stunted. So that was an interesting experiment. Let me cover my shadow here. It was an interesting experiment. I wanted to see what would happen, but now I know it just doesn't grow as good. So the rosemary in the back here, you can see all the rosemary growing back here. I've up-potted them, a lot of them. There's another 10 solo cups down here with rosemary. We have decided we are going to try for a seedling giveaway at the church, so that's going to be part of that. Hopefully we'll have more than that. I'm trying to seed out some pomegranates right now, but it takes a while to start growing, so we'll have to see what happens. This is the tomato seedling jungle here. These are all the seedlings I planted way back in March and April that are still in solo cups, but are kept small because they are in solo cups. They've just haven't grown that much. And so I could probably plant some of these out. They're really leggy. You can see here there's one that's growing up out of that solo cup. It's come up, it's grown down, it's grown over here, and it's coming up right there. So yeah, very leggy. What you do with those is you dig a trench and bury it sideways and then come up with the end if you wanted to plant it. But I don't know. I'm not there yet. It's another rat trap. Had 13 rat traps around here. 13. This is the volunteer tomato. There's actually still a couple on here. They're splitting because of the rain, but you can see this thing this plant is suffering. It's ready to be put out of its misery. It did grow really tall. There's a few up here that look like they might ripen, but you can see like that one has a split on it. That's from the rain, and then it has a peck on it from a bird or something. This one has a split. All these have splits. So it's been a bad couple of weeks for these. Another cucumber coming up, another one of the Suyo Long cucumbers coming out. And there's some of the seedlings from the rotten cucumber I dropped on the bed. I don't know what that is. I think it's a weed down there, but I'm afraid to pick it for fear that it might be something. But yeah, so more tomatoes. These are black seaman that are finally making their way out from behind the okra wall over here. I don't expect anything from them. That you can see that one over there has kind of even been nubbed off, and it's just a mess in here. This is going to be just a mess to clean up. I'll probably try to rip out the cages and then use the hedge trimmers up in here, but not on this. This is a blackberry, thornless blackberry. Still trying to figure out what to do with that. But I do want to show you, while we're right here, I want to show you this okra that I started this video with harvesting. Well, I'm gonna go around the other side here because this is really amazing. I wanted to show you the size of these trunks of okra. This is the second largest one. When I stick a ruler down here, you can see that it's about, what, 2.5 inches across right here. This is a big old trunk. And the plant kind of laid down as it goes up through there. That's one of the tall ones that's gone all the way up above the 8-foot high beam right there. But when it laid down, it started putting off offshoots. There's one there. There's another one up here. Hang on, where'd it go? Yeah, I thought there was another one. But yeah, so there's one offshoot coming off this one. And that's this thing here, and it is producing okra as well. So it's getting the top up there developing. And then these are just, I mean, they're massive. I'm talking about the theme of this month was big. This one here at the bottom is about 1.25 inches across the bottom there, right there. And this is another okra. This is one of the smaller ones. It was a little bit of a latecomer. And you come up here to the top and look, there's a little okra right there. And I tell you what, these things are so good fresh. Oh my goodness, I love these things. Love them. Tasty. There's a bunch of small ones down in here. These are all small ones coming up. There's a skinny one back over there that's actually produced right at the top there. It's produced a couple. But I wanted to come around. And yes, this is a jungle. There's another okra. Another okra. Okay, so now I'm going to go around the other side here because I can get to the trunk on this over here. I want to show you the trunk on this okra. My goodness, this thing is massive. And this is 3 full inches across right here. So this okra actually started growing straight up, and it fell. And it fell this way. And when it fell, it started growing upright. And so it's actually this one right here. Trying to keep my hand away from the lens. So this one right here that started growing upwards, and it grew up, and now it's the tallest one up there, even though it fell over. It's that top one right there. So there's that one. And then this is the amazing thing. Look, there's a side shoot come off it. Here's a side shoot come off it. There's another side shoot right here. This come off it. This thing has 3 branches that are also producing okra, which I just think is amazing. In fact, here's one of them right here. It's kind of small. I love eating these little ones though. They're just so tasty. But yeah, so the okra have produced a lot. We have a whole gallon bag of frozen sliced okra, and we're about to do another gallon bag. That takes us into, of course, the original peppermint plant. There's a about to go to seed. But the cucumbers, the Suyo Long cucumbers, these things are monsters, but they are getting worms, and actually I don't see any incursions on that one. Now I'm leaving some to start growing for seed. Here's another good looking one. This one actually looks really good. Let's see. I see no incursions on that. There's a little on the top there, but I don't think that's an incursion by bugs. That one might have to go in the harvest bucket, which I don't know if you saw my harvest bucket. It's just a almond milk container with a hole cut in it. It does pretty good. But yeah, so let me show you the big cucumber around here. Come around here, and yeah, you see that one down there? That's not the big one. Let's see where here's the big one. So this is the monster I'm letting grow for seeds, and it's starting to turn yellow. That's where you want it to go. This will be a source for seeds for next year. But it's starting to turn a little bit yellow. It's not as green anymore. And as it turns yellow, it's going to finish developing those seeds, and that's going to be my seed packet for next year. Hopefully it'll be a true Suyo Long. But we still have, and you can see here, and it's funny because we got closer and closer. You can see, I don't know if you can see the wormhole right there in the bottom. It's not focusing very well. There you go, maybe. Anyway, even the small ones are starting to get pest pressure. This one here, this one's terrible. It's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, there's like at least a dozen holes in this one. So this thing is full of worms. But you can see the leaves are stressed and eaten and all distressed. But I don't know which plant is which, and I don't want to jinx that seed packet down there. So I'm going to leave all this go until that thing has grown to full maturity and is not going to grow anymore, because that's going to be next year's seed packet. And of course, you've seen these carrots all summer just sitting here. Cool thing about carrots is they'll sit in the ground a long time, just preserve themselves, just being alive. And I know we've got some good carrots in here. Let's see if I know we pulled a carrot last time, and it was a little bit of a disappointment, I know. Oh, let's see what we got down here. I'm trying to feel around here for a good carrot. Let's see what we got here. Oh yeah, there's a tasty carrot right there. It's all tangled in, but there we go. Now, you know all of the carrot is edible. These are tasty. These greens are tasty. Did that camera just cut out? Anyway, so these greens are nice and tasty, and you can eat the whole thing. Probably should check for insects first. But yeah, so there's a carrot. Not a very big one. I'm not sure what I was expecting. But you just break off the tip. Ooh, there we go. So yeah, get that washed off inside. Now, come around to the little gap between bed 1 and 2, and of course this is the peach tree. If you are watching the end of the last part, if you look up here, so the tops of this tree are, look at this thing. It is just gone and gone and gone. It is huge. The thing is like 18 feet tall. At least 15 feet. I don't know what that's think it's doing. It's gonna get cut back this winter. But yeah, this thing is really kind of, this peach tree has really kind of grown out this year. So it's really done the leap thing for the 3rd year. And I'm looking here on the bottom of this, and it has, what on earth is that? Some kind of insect has made its nesting there. That is peculiar. Huh. I do not know what that is. Looking for any other signs like that. I don't see any other signs, but it's starting to show stress, obviously. The leaves are starting to get a little bit of rust. But yeah, so not too sure where this tree is going to go. We're going to let it grow though. The turmeric, man, this turmeric is just amazing. Huge. This was not that big when I pulled it out of the garden. The interesting thing about this is this one turmeric plant has put another one out right there. See, this is one turmeric. It's put out another one over here. It's going to grow more fingers of turmeric, whatever. You know what I'm saying. And then of course these two here are starting to grow out. Let's see if I can get my, oh, I gotta zoom my camera out. Nope, it is zoomed out. Yeah, there we are. It's hard to see the camera screen in this full sun. Another poinsettia. But yeah, that's an impressive turmeric. More cucumbers. Now these are looking miserable, and I'm pretty sure I can pull all these out. I don't even think there's a big one in here. I've been looking for, I used to have a big one in here, and I think it may have fallen or something. Oh yeah, there's a big one over there on the other side. Maybe seed, I don't know. I just have no need to pull it down. It's just part of the jungle right now. So this is in bed 2, of course. And our Brussels sprouts are starting to actually develop. In fact, do I see the Brussels sprouts themselves are going to develop along that stem. Little cabbage shaped things, but I'm not seeing anything yet. It will hopefully develop. I don't know, never grown Brussels sprouts before. Then we get into the bean forest. Oh my goodness. This starts the bean forest here. Goes up there and grows. There's a cattle panel across the top that is completely covered. You can't even barely see. It's got a cattle panel here, 16 foot long, to the far end down here, all the way here, and there are beans all through it. If you give me just a minute, they're kind of hard to find. But yep, here's a small one. A big lizard just crawled away. That's a small one. I've been harvesting a lot bigger than that. I'm gonna put that in my, oh, here we go. I come down here, there's a nice big one. And I'm kind of half watching the camera and half looking in real life, and you probably catch 3 or 4 as I'm scanning along, but look at there and there. Ooh, bumblebee just buzzed me. Look at that guy. You see him right over there? You get all kinds of flying pollinators up in here. There's still tons and tons and tons of buds all through here. It's amazing. And I have a feeling that if I were to able to get up on top of this thing, I'd probably find more beans, but I can only get what I can get. But sometimes you find whole clusters of beans up in here. These tomatoes still have not produced. And that's mainly because I am pretty sure, oh, here's another bean. I'm pretty sure, no, I'm not pretty sure. I'm positive that they have not gotten enough sun this year. This thing isn't even producing buds right now. But they have not got enough sun, primarily due to this water oak right above me. And this is a big old tree, and it's kind of leaning. You can actually see it from this angle. It's kind of leaning toward the neighbor's lawn. And that is my fence right there. But it does scare me a little bit. And but we've talked about it, and they're not opposed to it being gone, I don't believe. I know Bill wouldn't mind, because he's growing garden too, and we could both grow a lot better if we didn't have that much shade over here, because it's a lot of shade. Now, what I would do in lieu of that, this trellis here that I built is actually designed to hold a 50-foot by 20-foot shade cloth. And I will be getting a shade cloth for the top of this, making a superstructure over it, and it will hold shade cloth, and it'll become a trellis, a real trellis, the way it's supposed to be. So that'll be kind of be the end, not the end of the story, but the next phase of okay, so here's next phase of the story. Look at here. Can you see those? 1, 2, 3. I'm just throwing these in my little harvest bucket I got on my shoulder. Drop some. Oh. Yeah, I've been picking handfuls of this just very casually. I'll come out in the morning or in the evening and just look around and see what I got out here. But there's actually a tomato underneath this bean that is not going to make it. It wouldn't make it if the bean wasn't there, so I'm not too concerned about it. There's another kale plant down here. The Tabasco plant is taken off. It's really starting to grow. Oh, there's another bean. Tabasco plant is taking off, starting to do its thing. It's getting enough sun, just enough sun to really do something. So the tomatoes on the other side, I'm not even going to show you those. They're not doing anything except for growing tall. I did want to show you, so this is the Kajari melon trellis back over here, and it arches away from us over there with beans coming up the other side. But if you follow it up along here, up underneath here, there is a Kajari melon. Let me see if I can come around here up in the beans. And I don't know if this thing is gonna have a chance, but you can kind of see it inside there developing. One of these stems are his. I think it's this one here. I don't know. I'm not sure if this thing's gonna make it or not. It's way off here. It's still green though. Still has a lot of green to it. It's got an organza bag and then one of these mesh bags to hold the weight. There's a string up here that holds the weight of it so it won't pull the whole vine down if it grows big enough. But that's the Kajari. There's actually another one on the other side over here. Let me circle around the outside here. Stepping through the aloe. You can see this one here is actually growing a bit. It's orange. Okay. It is time for it to come in. It is detached. All right. I'm going to have to do a video on that. I'll come out and get that here in a moment. Oh, what am I doing? I have scissors right here. Yeah. Cutting left-handed with right-handed scissors. Not my most coordinated move. Let's see if I can cut right-handed with right-handed scissors. Oh, there we go. Oh, that was hard. That was a hard fall. Okay. This is a small one. Yeah, it didn't develop very big. It's kind of what I expect the other one is gonna do. I'll use my other hand here for just a minute. There we go. That is a beautiful split Kajari melon with no bugs because of that organza bag. Man, that's awesome. I'm gonna run this inside real quick. So, Kajari melon with a split in it. I don't know how good it's going to be. It's really small. I'm gonna do a little taste test here real quick. It looks good. It's very small. Ooh. These seeds are well underdeveloped, and it's not really turned the right color. Maybe a little bit. I'm just gonna take out a bite here. No. No sweetness at all. Well, maybe a wee little bit. I mean, it's edible, but pointless. So that was a fun diversion, but obviously, and see, that's kind of what I think is going to happen to the other Kajari melon. It's not going to make it, but it's good to. I've never grown it before, so it's more of an educational thing. Here's the yarrow still growing. I need to get this planted out somewhere. Okay, folks. So remember the goji berries that I said was dying? Look, it has come back, and we actually have goji berries, and they are almost ready to. That's a goji berry. It's little tiny berry looking things. Last year I think they were a little bit longer. There's 4, 5. We've already picked a handful from this, but it looks like it's trying to make it back, which is very exciting. It's got lots of leaves on it, so really I was doing research, and they said if it got bad enough, it'll actually put itself into hibernation and drop its leaves, and that's what it did as far as the heat. So it didn't do well with the heat. That was it. And it's back, and it's looking lush and beautiful, and it's growing just tons and tons and tons of leaves and new growth. I mean, look at this thing up here. This let me go around the other side here so you can see it better with the sun behind me. Look at here. See all that new growth coming out here? Just tons and tons and tons of new growth everywhere. So I'm very excited. I thought maybe I had done something terrible and we had lost it. So I did adjust the irrigation. It doesn't like a lot of water. And so I actually took, this was an extra irrigation I put down there at the base of the goji berry. And I took this out and put it up here. So it might have been that I reduced the water. If it was, great. I learned a lesson. So anyway, another elephant ear coming in here. Taro, is that what it is? These are the beans I planted. I had ripped this side out in bed 3. This is the end of bed 3. And these beans are growing. They are shooting up. This is the tallest one, I think. Oh, yeah, it's close. Got a close competitor over here, but this is about eye level with me. A little up below eye level for me. So looking really strong, and maybe we'll get some more beans out here. I should not have pulled those beans. Note to self. But the corn bed I haven't done anything with. I do want to talk about the pepper bed. So I'm kind of excited about the peppers this year. Now, first off, we do have a few peppers. In fact, I saw, looky here, the golden cross. If you saw the video of me eating one of these, if you didn't, go back and watch it and laugh at my folly. There's a couple of them on here. These are going to start producing. 1, 2, and I think there was another one. Where was it? Yeah, there it is, down there. There's another one right there. So there's 3 golden cross peppers coming up there. A lot of carrots, of course. Now you'll notice there's some things growing in the end of the bed here. Those are spaghetti squash. So we might see what spaghetti squash grows here. But so the peppers, back to the peppers. Orange bell pepper and notapino, these things are actually starting to look like they might do something. There's just a few plants here, and this has been my major failure. But let me show you what's growing indoors. If you followed on Facebook, you might have seen pictures of this shelf inside the bay window. I also looked in the window in part 1 of our video tour, but looky here. There's an orange bell pepper. There's a peri-peri coming up. There's one here is another orange bell. There's jalapenos. There's more jalapenos. There's, what is this? Another orange bell. What else do we have in here, Mrs. Bowtie? We have some Chinese red. Oh yeah, Scotch bonnet. We have some Scotch bonnet coming in here. So we've got 52 baby pepper plants growing under lights. Are we excited, Mrs. Bowtie?
We're excited.
Lots and lots and lots of peppers growing. More than we've successfully grown yet this year. Some of them are a little stressed. Oh, actually, you know what? This one here was really yellow. It looks better. I watered them yesterday. That one's looking a little stressed right there still, but it actually looks better. It feels better. So Jess over at Roots and Refuge says it's good to brush your hands. Jill at Whispering Willow too. You want to brush your hands over them. It helps to strengthen them some. But there's another shelf down here. You can see there's a little yellowing right there on that one.
Well, that's because that light's too close, probably.
I don't know. Maybe. But there's a lot of good green in here, though. These are just brilliant green. What is this one here? This is a Fatale. Oh yeah, there's another one. We're growing more Fatale peppers. That's that bright yellow one that I fed in the back. So 52 seedlings coming out. I am just thrilled that we finally figured out how to get them growing again. So with such a very late start on the peppers this year, obviously we just put them in the bed in September. May not be a lot of hope for them, but peppers are perennial. They will last a few years. And so what I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to put in a hoop house on this section of the bed, hopefully from end to end, after these spaghetti squash go through their life, which they're going to spill out over the end here. But I want to do a hoop house for all the peppers, and we'll cover it with plastic for the winter. And I don't know what we'll do from there, but we'll have to do something to keep it from getting pelted by the leaves from this magnolia tree. They're really rough on them. I may end up with some kind of netting over it, but we've got a nice long area here, 12 feet long, 4 feet wide, of all peppers that we can put in, and we can put a bunch of peppers in here. So that's the plan. You see the little baby there inside the AC? Little itty bitty one. They start off less than half that long. So there you go, the back garden tour. Kind of a rough overview. We're kind of in the back patio room right now. The bean wall is here and up there. Oh, see what I just found? Yeah, see, this is what I do. I walk out here just for a minute and find a handful of beans. I just left my bucket inside. Anyway, it's been a really neat year. You probably noticed the soil level has dropped at least 10 inches, in some places a little bit more, maybe closer to a foot. I can see some places over here by the cabbage that has dropped about a foot. So we'll have to get a lot more compost in here. It's going to be a couple of trailer loads of compost that we'll have to bring in from the equestrian center. And yeah, I'm going to use the same stuff. It actually did me pretty good this year. The nutrients and everything, I'm pleased, especially for it being free. So you know, ask around, find those free resources. There's tons of free stuff. People think of me as a pretty resourceful kind of person. I got a fellow at Lowe's that saves those big huge sheets of cardboard for me, and so that comes free. And I get the compost driving down to the equestrian center, and it's got a lot of nutrient in it. I've gotten all the 2 loads of wood chips now free, which I used, remember, back over there on the side on the part 1 underneath the orange and the grapefruit trees. I used that there. Now I did pay for the 300 foot by 6 foot roll of commercial weed fabric. I got it for a little over $100 on Amazon. It's heavy duty stuff. I was watching the channels that I follow. Incidentally, if you want to know what channels I follow, you can look here on Bowtie Life channel, and you can see which ones I subscribe to. Those are the ones I watch very regularly. Occasionally I try new ones, so I'll put it in there and I watch the titles, and occasionally I watch their videos, and if they interest me, I'll keep them on there. But if I'm not really getting a lot out of it, I'll move on. And I try to keep my list kind of pared down because I do try to watch everything, but the bees are just everywhere up in here. Ooh, is that a big bean? Hang on. 2 big beans. 3, 4. Yeah, see, this is just what I do. Just kind of walk out here, and there's 4 more big beans. Add to the pile. So, where was I? I have no idea. A lot of great resources out there. You just got to get out and look for them. And it's a big world. It's a big garden, and it is just thrilling to see everything that has just grown huge. This whole bean wall over here is just I think it's the neatest thing. This is the kind of thing that I've always dreamed a garden should be. You come to this time of year, and it feels like a jungle. You kind of have to push through the branches. There's 2 places around the okra over there you have to push through, and I can't even get to the onions because of that big yellow crown spider. I don't like spiders, but that one is a beautiful one. I did walk into a spider web and got face full of spider web just yesterday. But anyway, we're continuing to harvest, and can't wait till the ginger starts coming up, completely browning. It's just starting to brown, so we might have one of those plants harvested here soon. The turmeric is going crazy still. I don't know when to harvest turmeric, so if you know, tell me down in the comments. I don't know if the leaves are supposed to turn yellow or if you're supposed to do it when the leaves are big. That biggest turmeric plant over there, that's bigger than the plant that I pulled up from the ground right here under the middle of the beans. So it's already bigger than that. I need to find out when to pull that stuff. But anyway, so that's the raised bed garden tour, and I hope you found some inspiration, or maybe some encouragement. Yeah, I've got a lot of dead plants. I know we did the video about transplanting out the the rosemary. We were transplanting out the rosemary. I talked about, yeah, I've killed a lot of plants, and it doesn't make you a black thumb. It just means you're learning, and continue learning. Don't get discouraged. It's a good thing. We all go through it. Every gardener has. There's not a master gardener, and I'm not a master boy. I'm a third-year gardener. I am not a master gardener, but there's not even a master gardener out there that doesn't kill a lot of plants as it is. Gardener Scott, I watch every single thing of his, and he talks about how occasionally you'll hear his conversation about how, yeah, he kills plants too, and don't stress about it. Just keep going, because you'll figure it out. So anyway, this is Bowtie David. Please subscribe to the channel. We're trying to get our custom URL. We need 100 subscribers to do that. Ooh, I see another bean. Yeah, that's the ADD in me. One of these days I'm going to talk to you about ADD. I'm formulating some notes in my brain about ADD and the superpower that is ADD. So anyway, oh yeah, so that's the one I just got. Anyway, appreciate y'all spending time with me. I think it's cool that we can share our gardens like this. I love watching garden tours of other gardeners, see where they're going with it, where they're progressing. A lot of this was inspiration from other gardeners. In fact, this trellis system here was inspired by Roots and Refuge and their little garden out in front of their what's going to be their guest house, but they're living in it right now on their new property in South Carolina. This is inspired by that. I saw that and I thought, oh, that's what I need to do. So we already have plans for the next phase here that's going to be able to hold the shade cloth. There's going to be cross pieces up here to hold the cattle panels that things can grow on, and then over that we're going to do a large archway that will hold a 20 by 50 shade cloth, and I'm thinking probably a 50% shade at least. With this tree gone, we're going to have a lot of sun. We're going to have hours of sun. In fact, we might have 10 hours of sun. I don't know. But it's going to beat down with this Destin, Florida sun, and it'll be hot out here without a good shade cloth. So we're going to invest in a large shade cloth for this area. But anyway, that's about all the information I can think of to blurt out pointlessly and ramble on about. So again, appreciate you spending time. If you've come this far, thank you. You're awesome. I do this, and I know some of the other vloggers do this because it's just so neat to be able to share, and just dream of someone be able to be inspired to do something, even if it's just to plant a single tomato. Do something. Just try it, and try your hand at it. And you know what? You're going to get that first tomato plant. And if you kill it, it doesn't matter. Try again next year. Go down and get a packet of seeds. Learn how to plant seedlings. There's so much that you can learn. And Jess over at Roots and Refuge, she always says, turn your waiting room into a classroom. And I think that's just such a neat idea. Ever since I first heard her say that. In fact, she's the one that taught me how to grow tomatoes. There's a playlist on my channel. If you go down looking down how to grow tomatoes, there's 3 or 4 videos from her that were the first. I actually went back through years of her stuff and found the first videos I watched on how to plant and grow tomatoes. And I went back and looked at them. I made that playlist maybe a month or 2 ago. It might have been in June, but I just watched those videos again, and it was just a moment of nostalgia watching those 3 or 4 videos and thinking, oh my goodness, this is where I learned. And I saw Jess doing it, and look at where I'm at now. So, you know, you kill a plant. Hey, Mrs. Bowtie and I grew tomatoes about 10, 12 years ago, maybe probably about 10 years ago. We had 3 cherry tomato plants, and we enjoyed the fire out of those 3 cherry tomato plants. And we got a lot of cherry tomatoes. I thought, oh, we're doing great here. So we tried it again the next year, and we put 3 new plants in the second year, and we had 1 cherry tomato grow on all 3 plants. 1. That was our year. Was that a hummingbird? But it was a dismal failure, and we stopped gardening for a number of years. And you know, looking back now, is like, I shouldn't have stopped. I should have just learned and tried to learn more. And there's so many resources on YouTube that people just show you exactly what to do. And then then here's the funny thing: you can do it any of 1,000 ways. Find another person that does it a different way. Find a person that matches what your environment is. I live in Destin, Florida. It is hot and humid here. My methods are not the same methods that Luke from MI Gardener uses. He lives up in Michigan, so his methods are a little different. And so you try different methods until you find the one that works for you. And it'll take a few tries. It's just gonna take a few tries. Trust me. Let it take a few tries. Say, okay, if this doesn't work, we're gonna try a different way. Make a video about it. See what you did, and go back and look at it. I actually went back and looked at a few videos on how to grow peppers that I had seen years ago, and I went back and remembered that I put perlite and vermiculite in my seed starting soil, and that was the biggest thing I did on these that are growing now that I showed you a few minutes ago. I just went back to the basics that I started with just 3 years. Folks, this is year 3 for me of successful gardening. And you know, next year may be a failure, but I'm past the point of no return. If I fail next year, I'm going to try again the following year, but I'm not going to fail. Something's going to grow. 40 some odd different crops on this property, and something's going to grow, and I'm going to get encouraged with one thing or another, and I'm going to try again. We're doing some big stuff down there in the melon patch over in front of the bee box. We're putting the big arches. I mentioned that. We're putting in, after this water oak tree is down, we're going to put in new archways along the back here and grow melons up vertically. There's just so much that we're going to be adding here and trying differently and trying better and improving and getting better at it. And that's all you can do. Just get better at it until you got it perfect. And you know what? You never have it perfect. You still come up to a year, it's like, okay, everything I've ever done has failed. And so we try something new. We had that 2 weeks of really hot weather here. I know most of the country has had that hot weather for months. We had it for 2 weeks, and the tomatoes are witness to that. We didn't get another tomato, at least not much to speak of. We got a few cherry tomatoes off the Principe Broghese, but nothing to speak of. And we'll try again next year. But I have a feeling with that shade cloth, it's going to make a whole world of difference here. This tree just creates too much immediate shade. We get like 3 hours of sun on these tomatoes here, and that was it. And so we got to do better than that next year. So anyway, I know this is like the 5th time I've tried to shut off this video, and I'm going to shut it off now. Appreciate you spending time. Go plant something. Right now it's fall here in Destin. You got spinach and lettuce and all kinds of cool weather crops that you can grow. And next season is winter, and if you got a place indoors you can grow, you got stuff you can grow there. And there's always something you can grow all year round. And don't think just because it's not summer we can't grow anything. There's ways to do it. There are people out there just aching to teach us how to do it, and that's what I'm trying to learn from others. That's what I'm trying to pass on to you. Maybe one person's personality doesn't speak to you, maybe another person's does. If mine does, great. I don't think I'm anything special, but there you go. So thank you for spending time with me. This conclusion is coming up on to 15 minutes. So as always, have a blessed day.